Hello everyone, welcome back. It's that time it's that time again where I bring in a few of my Chinese elms, just to give them a bit of a pruning up, tidying them up. They're starting to get a bit, some of them are starting to get a bit overgrown looking, sending out lots of long shoots, and we don't want them getting too strong and too heavy, the shoots they send out. Otherwise they end up with big heavy branches, so I like to keep them kind of pruned back, keep on top of the pruning. You can see this one's starting to get a bit out of control. I'm not going to be too fussy with them. This is just basically to prune them back and get them back into some sort of shape. I'm not going to be worried about chopping leaves or anything. It's basically going to be like a hedge pruning. It's just now and again I'll go in and do a lot of more detail work, but every so often I just do this. I just give them a quick prune over, and then at a later time, another time, we'll spend some time in picking out which branches we want to keep and things like that. But for today I have a few of them to do, so I'm just going to kind of basically fly through them, giving them all a quick going over. I'll try and bring the camera in a bit closer if I can for this one. It's quite a big tree. Raise it up a bit. So, as you can see, it's getting lots of shoots out, and I kind of don't want them getting too long and they get too thick then. Like I said, I'm not going to be fussy about which way I'm pruning them. You know, ideally you could go in and prune each one to an outward facing leaf like that, but from today I'm just going to tidy them up, doing a bit of kind of rough pruning, and the more detailed stuff can come at a later time. So find if you don't do this, you end up with very long shoots, and they just keep getting longer and stronger, and then you end up just cutting them off anyway because they're way out, grow way too big and too heavy. But if you keep on top of it, you can keep your foliage quite small, quite tight. As you can see, the leaves are quite small in it, and they're quite tight together. Anything grown down we'll take out, or growing straight up we'll just take off completely, so it concentrates on growing in the right places. This tree, if you haven't seen it before, I got this. It was in a garden centre, they had it indoors. It was up on a top shelf, and these roots weren't even in the pot. They were kind of coming out the pot and then coming back up and back into the pot, and it was very weak. It only had a couple of long branches with a few leaves on each, and it was right out, the leaves were right out at the ends. So I brought it home and I chopped it right back, took all the branches off, basically started again with it, and planted it on these three rocks, which I cemented together it was either that or I was have to chop off all the roots and take a chance. But I decided to make do with what I had, which was very long woody roots. So that's why I planted it on this. It's just kind of hanging over the tree there, over the rock I mean. So, and since then, as you can see, it's grown pretty good and strong. I keep up with the pruning, so the foliage has got nice and tight now. The thing with Chinese elms, you've got to be brave. I know a lot of people get them as beginner trees, which is great because they are a great beginner tree, but you have to be brave and prune them. And who people that have got them, I've given some to people and I told them make sure they prune them, and then I go back 6 months later and I see the tree and it's never been pruned, and it's just all leggy and big long branches about a foot long. So, and then you end up just cutting them all off and basically starting again. So if you have Chinese elms, just keep pruning them. If you want to get tight foliage like these, gotta be brave and keep pruning. Okay, so I'll just pause the video and we'll finish this one and then we'll come and have a look at it. Okay, so I think we're done with that one. Again, along the stage I might go in and separate the pads a bit more, a little bit more lighting, but I just have a lot of them to get through today, so I'm just going to give them a quick pruning like that, get them somewhat into shape again, and we'll get that one back out on the bench. Let's give you a look at it from a distance on the rocks. So that's it now, all pruned up. I could actually lift it out another bit because that rock is actually all the way down to the bottom of the pot, so I could actually make it tall again if I wanted to, but for now it's fine, we'll leave it. Okay, so we get out the next tree. Okay, this is the next one. Again, I'm just gonna, you can see how long the shoots get and how thick they get. So you want to get rid of them. You see, like, that's no good, so you're just gonna have to cut them all off. Growing down here, you can see the length of that one. Another one going right the way across there. Again, this is another one over a rock. Just to give it a bit more character. I don't really like these S kind of bends that they put into these. A lot of these Chinese elms. So I tend to try and put them on rocks and things just to take your attention away from the uglier S shape of them, if I can. just taking off all these long shoots and anything growing up. Basically just hedge pruning it for now. When they lose their leaves, I keep all my Chinese elms outside all year round. When they lose their leaves, that's a good time to get in and sort out your branch structure and stuff. But I do find, for some reason, I don't know why, some of them don't lose the leaves. They could be sitting on the same shelf in the same position, side by side with another one in the same soil, and one will lose its leaves and the other one doesn't, so it's a bit strange. But either way, whichever, they seem to both grow okay in the summer. Doesn't seem to be any difference in the way they grow. Seems to be a few cross branching here going on. Again, one day we'll come in and do a proper sort through the branches. Okay, I'll just keep going with this one, finish it off, and we'll have a look. Okay, so I think this one is done. Again, just a quick pruning. I'm not sure on this one which is the front. It could be either side really. Possibly this side is a nicer look to the roots, and to the off this one we have a dead root there. I could probably take that root off actually. Okay, so again we can put that one back out now and just leave it off, and again one day we'll come in and we'll do a bit more of a careful pruning of it and pick out some branches and things, but for now we can go back out and we'll grab another one. Okay, so this is the one I have planted on the statue. I can't remember if I made a video of this part here. It's growing grand on the statue, but all the roots are coming forward, and there was none at the back here, so I've scarred the trunk of it, and I put a bit of sphagnum moss to try and get some more roots growing around the back. This was just an air layer off the top of another tree, so it's doing quite well. Again, we'll just go in and give it a bit of a pruning. This one I will do take a little bit more care of the direction I want the next branches to grow, because they want to kind of keep this growing the way I want it to. We're getting some pretty heavy branches over this side. trying to train this so it's kind of looks somewhat like a kind of a umbrella-y kind of a shady over the statue. Get a lot of spiders on my trees. But I'm sure they probably help keep away some of the bad bugs. A few growing down here, I'll get rid of them. Okay, so again, I think that'll do for this one. We might eventually pull that branch down slightly just to level it out with this one. It's be sticking up in the air a bit. We can bring that one down a bit. But for now, we'll leave it at that. Hopefully we've got some roots growing in here. I would think it should work okay. These guys grow pretty easily. They root pretty easily, so I would say we'll be okay with that one. So we'll put that to one side and we'll bring out another. Okay. Again, another one that's just starting to go crazy a bit. Grow from every angle, every direction, crossing each other. Which you could probably help stop that by not pruning it like this, if you only did directional pruning. But right now I'm not too bothered. I'm trying to get it roughly growing in the right direction. If you have the odd one growing wrong, which they do anyway, whatever you're trying to do, you just have to go in and prune them off. Okay, so again, I'll just keep going with this one and then we'll come back and have a look at it. Okay, so I think we're done with this one. Kind of like this tree being an upright, straight tree rather than these S-bendy trees. I much prefer to have them like this. We'll just see if I can clean some of this moss off the trunk a bit. Okay, let's get some of the moss off. Okay, so that's another one pruned up. I'll put it back and grab in another one. Or grab up another one. I have a few here ready to go. So it's this little one now. This was an air layer off the top of one of the others. It was literally, it was kind of big, but then I cut it down to one little tiny thin branch. It was literally like that. And I left just one branch on it, and it's growing quite good now and thick, as you can see. It's filling out nicely. Again, gotta keep on top of the pruning, or all the energy will be going to these long shoots. And again, it was a kind of a funny looking tree because I had air layered it off the top of another kind of S-bendy looking tree. Then to air layer the tops off them if to try and get a bit more or a bit less, should I say, of an S-bend. So now we've just got this kind of a little bit of a kink in this one. Like that. Again, I had to be brave and prune it right back to one little thin little branch, but you'll be surprised how well they take to that kind of treatment and how well they grow. So, like I said before, the idea is not to be too afraid. It's easy to say when you've got loads of them like me, too many of them, but I know if you've only got one, you're like, you don't want to risk losing it by going too mad. But as you can see by mine, if you do keep them pruned, the foliage does get tighter. The tree, to me, looks and gets stronger. So, like that, it's just through practice. And I know because I have a few of them, I'm able to just take chances with them. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I do it more, but that's the only way you kind of learn yourself, by practicing on your own trees. You know, people can tell you how to do it, and then you do it their way, and it might not work for you. So you need to kind of learn yourself what your tree responds well to and how to do it. Okay, so that's just a little guy. Okay, and I've one more of this fella. It's going to have a bit of a change done to him. This again, it was an air layer, and then I air layered the top off again. So I ended up with the middle section, basically one branch, which is this, and I'm not liking this straight bit down here, and I'm thinking of turning the tree and using this as my cascadey kind of branch, keeping this as the apex and getting rid of this back branch altogether. So again, not the best time of the year to do this kind of job, but like I said, I don't mind taking risks with these. So I'm going to take it out of this part, and I'm just going to carefully remove some of this soil. I'm going to try not to disturb the roots too much. These guys seem to be pretty resilient, so I'm going to take off this big branch at the back and get into it. it's just too straight, and the tree itself is just planted like that. It's just too flat. Everything's kind of too flat on it, so I don't like it. So I'm going to take that one off, and I'm going to plant it like that. And then eventually I'll turn these around, get them trained to grow flat this way, and I'll train this to grow as an apex on the top, so it's got a bit of a kink on the thing rather than all kind of flat. Now what I'm going to do is just take off a little bit of this top soil here, like that. Let's see what I'll fit back in. I'm going to just plant it back in the pot like that. Let's see if I got a bigger pot that I could maybe put it into. I'll just check and see, and I'll come back. Okay, now the only other pots seem to be not really suitable. They're either too small or they're kind of got pictures on them and stuff, which I don't think will suit this tree. So I'll just put a bit of drainage cloth in the bottom and a bit of soil, a scoop, bit of soil in there, and I'm kind of confident that this won't even skip a beat, this tree. I'm doing this work now. You see, that's the air layered soil that I used to air layer it. So it never got stripped from the soil from when I air layered it the first time. Still got that soil on it. So I'm just kind of loosen it off a bit, just so I can take out the weeds, just so I can get it back in the pot. Thinking something kind of like that, and like I said, I'll get these growing flat and I'll get this growing as an apex, and I just think it's a bit better looking than it was. A bit more soil. I won't bother wiring it in. There's no need to wire it in this part. It'll grip into this plot pretty quickly. I know it's got this scar at the front, but I don't mind that. Again, just a reminder of its life it's had, being used for layers and stuff. And this is the remaining piece. It's gone from a ugly, twisty, tall, skinny, no taper tree to maybe some people say a small, twisty, ugly tree, but I think it will eventually turn out to be a lot better with that, like that, and like that. Eventually I might tilt it down more, but this is just to get the roots growing now again in that direction, and we can start working on getting everything growing in the right direction. I'll put it this side to the sun now, so stuff starts growing that way, and then it should be good to go. We'll keep an update on it. I'll just put a little bit of cut paste on the back where I did that cut, just in case. Okay, so we'll give that a good watering, and and we'll put that out, and hopefully we'll start creating a new tree. Maybe one day I'll take this off, I don't know, but for now we'll leave it and see about making an apex out of it and a kind of funny shaped branch. Okay, so that's it for this video. Just a quick one on, well, not a quick one, but just one on how I keep my Chinese elms trimmed and keep the foliage tight on them. Like I said, just try and be a bit brave when you're doing it. Okay, so we'll put these out on the bench and we will see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.